Okay, continuing on. Another Lamech. And Lamech lived 182 years and begat a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. In Genesis 5 line, we encounter all these names we'll look at in a bit. It's noteworthy and clearly by design that the only one who's speaking is recorded in the line of life, another Lamech, who would have probably been contemporary to the original Lamech. Lamech lived for 182 years and begat a son whom he named Noah. Noah means rest. This Lamech said, This shall comfort us concerning our work and the toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed. Both lines end with a Lamech and with the record of the speaking of their Lamech. Interesting. Both Lamechs represent the fruit of the lips and the abundance of the heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and represents the way of each line. The name Lamech means to mourn. Both Lamechs are mourners, but the Lamech on the line of life mourns while anticipating redemption. He names his son Noah, saying, This is the way God is going to comfort us. We acknowledge that our situation is due to the fact that God cursed the earth. We need to be comforted concerning our toil. They don't take pleasure in their toil. They know that it's a result of the fall. In contrast, Cain's line boasts in their toil. From the beginning with Cain, he did not understand that the toil was something negative. God was not interested in man toiling for him, and he did not respect that offering. So there's a fundamental difference between Cain's line and Seth's line. Seth's line stays by the altar, calls on the name of the Lord out of weakness, recognizes hope in their redemption, and they really do have a kind of rest. Amen. Now, in the line of Cain, we saw that there's no recorded passage of time because God doesn't remember. He doesn't consider it significant. I believe that's what it means. On the other hand, you have a record of all these works: city building, agriculture, musical instruments, secret knowledge, weaponry, murder, and polygamy. Yet all we see in the Genesis 5 line is someone lived this long and begat so-and-so, then lived a little more or a lot more and begat sons and daughters. All they did was live and beget. That's why we call it the line of life, and this is why it seems to convey an impression of rest. The focus of God is life. Even in creation, the focus was life. It was to recover the earth on the third day, in order to separate the land from the sea and then make it a productive place for life to grow. There is a certain order to life and complexity, from plants to animals, birds, and then finally man. The tree of life symbolizes this emphasis on living things. Even after the fall, the first thing Adam does after God's pronouncement of the gospel and covering them with skins is to name his wife Eve, the mother of all living. There's a focus on life because life means the seed. This is a big deal for God's people. One of the reasons why being barren was considered a curse in the Old Testament was because everyone hoped to be the one to bring forth the Messiah. The biggest blessing would be to bring forth the Messiah. From the very beginning, when Eve had Cain, she said, "We've gotten one from the Lord." Even when Abel was killed and she had Seth, which means appointed, she said, "He's been appointed in place of Abel." We see this at the end of chapter 4 when she said, "God has appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew." For them, the seed and the life didn't mean anything unless it pointed to Christ, who was the seed of the woman, who would bruise the serpent's head and restore everything. Amen. Genesis 3:15. It's not about life for life's sake. That's just vanity. Ecclesiastes 1:2. Yes, they lived a long time, but it's all just futility and vanity. Ecclesiastes 1:2. Everything under the sun is vain, until everything under the sun is vain until they're brought back to what God originally created. So there's a recognition that this is not our home. They are strangers and pilgrims, and they're not building anything. Hebrews 11:13-16. Amen. That's not to say that these people didn't have their own lives. However, God's record focuses on the line of life that leads to Christ, who is the resurrection and the life. John 11:25. Amen. The genealogy of Jesus Christ is being recorded with these names, including the names from Genesis 11 that lead to Abraham from Shem. These names can also be found in Luke's genealogy, which traces the bloodline that finally brings forth the seed of the woman who is their hope. That's what they were living for. They didn't care about anything else. Amen.